Jessy Dodd is a photographer and pet owner who has recently started Posh Pets Talent, an influencer and modelling agency for animals where she represents some of the best dogs on Instagram. And she's just joined us here now. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm just noticing the dog that you've got on your lap there. What's his name or her name?
This is my dog, Mishka. She's my little inspiration. And she goes by Mishka the Tiny, MISHKATHETINY on Instagram. She's a little, my little inspiration, my dog model here that I started with. So
Yeah.
she comes everywhere with me, right? She said, yeah, whatever.
What breed of dog is that?
So Mishka, actually, she's coming up on her gotcha day, which is the day we got her, which was November 24th.
Is that what it's called?
So we call it, that's what they call it in the dog community, a gotcha day. It's adapted. We got her from the City Pound here in Los Angeles. So I don't exactly know. They said she was a terrier breed. The vet thinks she's mixed with Yorkie and Chihuahua, but to me, it doesn't really matter because she's just my beautiful little baby.
Yep. Now, your modelling agency for dogs, what exactly do you do with that?
Yeah, so I'm the owner of Posh Pets Magazine, and so we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary in February, and a lot of people were asking me, how do I get my dog into modeling? And I'd started putting my dog in modeling, and they were saying, how are you doing it? And like, how do you connect with brands? Yeah. I had actually signed Mishka up with a couple other like pet influencer agencies, and she was sort of just getting overlooked. And I thought, I'm just going to do it myself. And then with Posh Pets Magazine, when it took off, a couple of dogs that I were on the cover, like Delilah, she's been on the cover twice, was like, I asked her to be a page ambassador. And then other people were starting to say, how can we be ambassadors for Posh Pets Magazine? And it just hit me like, I'm going to start a modeling agency for dogs, because a lot of people don't really know how to do it. And a lot of brands don't really know how to, they just sort of send generic messages to dogs they want for modeling. And you never really know if it's a scam or if it's something they really want to invest in. And for dogs, a lot of them don't know how to approach brands. So I'm connecting brands and clothing companies and designers with dogs.
And how do you find the dogs to be a part of your agency?
Well, I've been getting a lot of requests and emails about joining. And right now I have 18, so I'm pretty full. Not really looking for any more. But most of the dogs I've known or I've been following for a long time on Instagram. So I see how they're doing. A couple of the dogs were new and I'd never met them, but I just saw a lot of potential in them. And I saw, even though, they might not have the large following count, that they just really hustled really hard and were serious about, their pictures and their posting, because the dogs, they do a lot of work. For every post, they're engaging for one post, at least 2 hours a day, 3 hours.
And during this pandemic, have you had to kind of work remotely with the dogs and get the people who own them to do a lot more work with them?
Yes, of course. I had 3 LA dogs. I'm down to 2 now, but a lot of the dogs are working remotely. So the pandemic was a blessing. It's not a blessing. I never want to say that. Holy crap. No. What did I just say? Just a minute.
Oh, no.
No, it was actually, it's okay because a lot of brands are working remotely. They're not having in-person photo shoots. You're sending them in anyways. So I have the ability that I have dogs in Florida. I have several dogs in Canada. I have Romeo and Reggie who are in the UK. They're in Kent. And I don't know if you were able to look them up. I sent you their name. They're just these cute little brothers, and they are so posh and so lovely. And
are they the ones that are out clubbing tonight?
Yes, it's Dad's birthday. So they're out partying with Dad.
Is that their dog dad or their human dad?
Their human dad. Well, they're human dad too. But we work with a lot of, even though we have a lot of US influencers, and I do have Romeo and Reggie, and I have a dog in Sweden named Doggo. Even though there's things going overseas, and I'm not in the UK and they're not here. They are working with US brands. Oh God, what did I just say? Like we have so many, like I can't even think of them right now. Like I've worked with over, since I started 5 weeks ago, we've had over 40 brands that we're working with and designers.
Whoa. Are there any of those brands that we would be familiar with?
I don't know about in the UK, but like Pet Quirks is a huge one that we have worked with. We have a lot of other designers in the UK. There's Hercabella, which is sort of a very posh, like makes a lot of tweeds and jumpers and things like that. And then they're actually going to be featured in next month's magazine as our designer spotlight. And there's a company out there called Furdrobe, and they make these amazing bows and gowns that have Swarovski crystals sewn into them, and it's amazing. My dog has a better wardrobe than I do.
Do the dogs like being dressed up in that? Because sometimes some people are like, oh, it's cruel to put them in this stuff and dress them up like that. Do you think that dogs enjoy that?
I would not ever put a dog in clothes that didn't want to. If they started to retract or act like they were not comfortable, I would immediately put an end to it. Absolutely. I can only speak for my dog. She knows that when I get my camera out and I pull an outfit out, she runs and sits on the backdrop and starts wagging her tail to get her picture taken, because she knows she's going to get like cheese or like chicken or something. So she knows that means treat. So she's very excited to do it.
Yeah. Of all the dogs that you've worked with, do you have any particular favorites?
Oh man, you can't put me on the spot like that.
Oh no.
They're all going to hear this. I have some amazing, very hardworking dogs that book a lot of brands and put a lot of effort into their photos. Like their photos are amazing. If you go on and just look at some of them, and they really just put in the effort of grooming their dogs, making sure their dogs look great, making sure the outfits are right, making sure their lighting is great. So all of them are I never see a dog and I'm like, oh, that's not a cute dog, because every single dog I see, like, it could be the ugliest dog in the world, and I'm like, that is so cute, I want that dog.
Yeah, I think everyone's the same. They see a dog and go, oh, look at that, and then if you actually think about it, there's better looking dogs. But
I mean, they're all cute. How do you pick, Yes, I mean, of course, exactly. This one is my favorite.
Of course.
If I'm being honest, my own dog, but there are other dogs out there. I know her limits, though. I know what she will and won't do. So I know that with certain brands, if they ask for her, I'm like, she's not going to be a good dog for that.
Yeah.
She's not going to model that the way other dogs can. I don't think she's the right one. So I know her limits.
Definitely. What is the outfit that she's got on just now?
Oh, right now she just ran across them.
Oh, no.
It's not any brand that we represent. It's just just a Petco sweater,
right.
Because it was chilly this morning. I don't have her dressed in a gown or anything today. She was just a little cold this morning, so I put a little sweater on her, and now she ran onto her bed, so she's done.
Yeah. Do you work with any other animals other than dogs?
Well, right now for the agency, the only requests I'm getting are for dogs. If I start getting requests for cat companies or anything like that, I'm more than happy to. As you see in the magazine, I've had a cat on the cover.
Yeah.
I did an issue where this guy was making gowns for like hamsters and like turtles, and it's a thing. It's a whole thing. So I have a hedgehog, Charlie. The African pygmy hedgehog is in next month. He's UK. Wow. He's in the UK, and he's in next month's magazine. But for the agency, I just have dogs right now. And I think I told you 2 of the dogs got married this year.
Oh yeah. How do you know that 2 dogs are willing to be married? That's my question.
I don't know. That's up to their parents, I guess. I think the dogs are of consenting age.
Probably.
But they had a huge Furdrobe wedding where it was Delilah _diary and at Romeo _ Reggie _ adventures. And they had this huge British wedding for the dogs where Furdrobe made the outfits, and they had a bridal party and they had bachelor parties. It was amazing. We had to do a special edition of it because it was so incredible.
Did it all go to plan? Because I could imagine like maybe the bride walking down the aisle and then getting distracted by a sausage or something.
I don't know. I wasn't there personally because, you know, I'm in Los Angeles and we travel restrictions, you know, but I from the pictures it looked lovely. But, you know, these are the kind of things. So we work with these designers who make these huge, insane gowns and these gorgeous sweaters. We work with toy companies. We work with a lot of treat companies, too. Woof Woof UK is a treat box company. If any dogs listening want to sign up, they have these treats and toys that they send out every month. It's really cool. Le Pet Luxe is a company that I work with here in the United States that I absolutely love. They have just the cutest stuff, and they're using a lot of my dogs for modeling. So, so brands, you know, they find me and they can book the dogs off the website. The website, which is poshpetsmagazine.com, there's a talent page. And if you click on the talent, it has all the talent that we have right now. And there's a little book me, and you can click on it and it'll send me an email about your interest in the dog. Or you can find me on Instagram, Posh Pets Magazine.
Awesome. And in the not too distant future, have you got any more big things planned with big brands or more weddings?
No more weddings than I know about, but my dog's birthday is coming up, and dog birthdays in the dog world is a huge thing. You have to. This year we're going to be doing it virtually, probably Zoom and over internet because, you know, because of coronavirus and everything. Yeah. But her party is going to be a Candyland themed party, so everyone's going to be dressed in that sort of attire. Posting their pictures. It sounds really crazy to people who aren't in the dog Instagram world. I know. I used to think it was crazy. I was like, when I got my dog, I'm like, my dog's going to have like 2 t-shirts and that's it. And now it's like, I just ordered a closet, an armoire for my dog.
Do dogs get 7 times as many birthdays as humans because of dog years?
I don't know. I can only handle one a year. I wouldn't even. That's hilarious, actually.
I've only just thought of that. That might be a thing because it's not really fair. They've got to have the same amount of birthdays as us.
So should she have 7 birthdays this year?
Yeah. I don't know how you divide that up with 12 months. So roughly every 2 months, but a little more often.
Right. So every 2 months we have a party.
Yeah.
You know, I can't wait. Hopefully the pandemic, I have something planned for April if, you know, things, working on a fashion show here at one of the pet expos with the producer of the pet expo here in LA to get some of the pets to walk on the catwalk and do a fashion show. And so if everything, you know, settles down with coronavirus, that's the next thing.
Great. In your spare time, do you get up to anything else other than dogs, or do they take over your life?
Well, I am a photographer, so I had a fashion photography business going before the pandemic. And, you know, even though I was still doing Instagram stuff with my dog, I wasn't really like in it. But when this whole coronavirus started, I can't, the studios are closed, and, you know, it's like you can't have, you know, certain groups of more than 10, and a lot of photo shoots, you need more than 10 people. And also a lot of people, it's like, well, how do you do a photo shoot? Like, I can wear a mask and get a long lens and stand far away from you because we have strict rules here in LA, you know? So it's been really hard. So I just sort of put everything I had into this magazine and into starting the agency. And hopefully brands, you know, more brands will want to connect and want to work with us. That's the goal, is to just keep building it up and building it up. And I like your poster in the back, the Muppets. Hi.
Oh, yes.
That's awesome.
And you're not the first person to compliment me on that.
Oh, my God. I love it.
Yeah. What is the lowdown on all the places that we can check out your agency and all the places that it's been used to promote brands?
So you can look at poshpetsmagazine.com is the website for the magazine and the talent. And then We have on Instagram, it's Posh Pets Magazine and Posh Pets Talent. And then if you want to look at my doggy, Mishka the Tiny, because
yeah.
And we have, I mean, there's so many dogs I can name right now. We have 18. I don't know if I have time.
Yeah.
Them all. Yeah.
If you can remember all their names, there'll be one that you forget, so and then that's it.
So many. But it's a lot of fun. It's a whole, when I first started this, I was like, yeah, this is crazy. Like, I need my own reality show because the messages and the things that I do every day are really insane. Like,
yeah,
crazy people do this stuff.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
We'll hopefully see you again soon.
Thank you. I love that. Thanks.